What is up, everybody? This is Cool Dude, and today we're back to another chill discussion. So today, I want to talk about some WWE, aka World Wrestling Entertainment, or as it used to be called, World Wrestling Federation. But hey, details, right? So, as some of you may know, if you've been on the channel for a while, I love WWE, and I still love watching WWE. Now, I don't think it's as good as it used to be, for sure. Like, I still think, like, old school WWE was just amazing. Even though I didn't grow up with it, like, I just still know it was so fantastic. It's just looking back on all those matches and all the characters that used to be involved, the Stone Cold, you know, The Rock, even, like, you know, Yokozuna, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, you know, like, all those great guys, and it was just such a great era back then. Anyway, but I still like watching WWE. I still really like watching all these performers, and I still like most people on the roster. I might not agree with all of WWE's choices nowadays, but I still watch it. It's still cool. So today I wanted to talk about the WWE 2K games, because I actually have played quite a few WWE 2K video games. You know, there are a few that I've missed, but I've played all the ones that I think people care the most about. You know, I got WWE 2K 17, I got WWE2K19, did not get WWE2K20, thank the Lord I did not get it. I saw like all the videos and everything, I'm like, you know what, I think I'm good. I think I'm good without that disaster in my life. I don't need to see that. I'm hoping that WWE 2K 2022 is going to be so much better. From the gameplay trailer that's been out so far, I mean, by the time I like release this video, that's all that's out. I mean, maybe, you know, there's a new trailer out, and, you know, I might have different thoughts on it. But for now, there's only that 30-second image, you know, with Rey Mysterio, that promo shot, and then Rey Mysterio, like, you see in the game, like, he, like, does the 619 on Cesaro. So it's like, that's cool, but, like, it better hit different. Their tagline is, it hits different. It freaking better be, okay? It better hit different. So I'm just really hoping WWE 2K 2022 is going to be good. But right now, I want to talk about the best, in my opinion, WWE 2K game ever. And that game is WWE 2K14. That's right, the very first WWE 2K game, in my opinion, was the best one, hands down. And most likely still will be, with the exception of a few things which I'll get to later. So why do I think WWE 2K14 is the best one? First of all, the roster. I mean, don't get me wrong, WWE 2K has not been bad with rosters in recent games. They definitely have been expanding and improving upon it. But I mean, 2K14 had most all the greats. You know, they had Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter. They had, you know, I mean, Eddie Guerrero was in the game, but there was like a weird way of unlocking him, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Batista was in the game. They even had Ultimate Warrior as like a preload bundle, you know, like a pre-order bundle. I don't think they had Roddy Piper and all those guys like in it, but they had a lot of good guys on the roster. It was a packed roster. So I really love the roster of this game. And number two, like, I just, like, overall, like, I think I like the whole, like, faces thing, you know? And I know 2K15 had it too, but 2K15 was a very, it was like a boring game, honestly. Like, looking back on it, it wasn't that good. I mean, the showcases were cool with CM Punk, John Cena, and the Triple H and Shawn Michaels, but like DLC also was crap. Universe mode was and like everything about that game was just beside the 2K showcase, which is cool. But 2K14, like, it had that menu still, but it still had the good roster. And I do still wish that WWE 2K would just stick with that, you know? That roster, like, where you see all the people's heads in front of you. Like, you just had to, like, look at the wrestler you wanted, and then, like, you could pick it. There was no, like, scrolling up and down, because I feel like it takes so long to just get to the wrestler you want. Like, I just want to play a match, you know? Speaking of matches, number 3 reason why it's good, they actually have some of the matches that people want to play. I mean, they don't, unfortunately, have Buried Alive matches, which I know a lot of people miss. I'm sad I'm one of the few that don't get a chance to play it, but that's, you know, that's life. But it has Inferno matches, which I think are really cool. And they have, for the love of God, they have special guest referee matches. For the life of me, I don't know why WWE 2K has such a beef with the special guest referee. Like, why can't we play special guest referee? Good God. My goodness. Okay, that's just, I'm just so pissed off about that. But yeah, just all those match types were, like, really good, and I just think they had such a diverse option for you to pick from the, like, all that. And granted, I know the the women's roster was very crap by the time WWE2K14 was up. I mean, they had AJ Lee and all those guys, but, like, compared to nowadays, there's not a lot of, like all elite women wrestlers in there. They didn't even have any of the old ones, which is, I guess, fair, because this game had 30 years of WrestleMania into it, which focused on all the greatest hits from the WrestleMania, which, unfortunately, by the time 2K14 was released, not a lot of women matches were, you know, primarily, like, grand epics. I mean, there sure were a lot of cool ones, but like not as big as like like say I don't know the Undertaker matches or like Edge matches and Edge versus John Cena Big Show and all those other matches that are just much more impactful. So I think that's why they just didn't do it. But like aside from that, like the roster is spot on. And speaking of 30 years of WrestleMania, it was a great storyboard. They didn't call it Showcase at the time, but it was really good. Like I just love that. It was a lot of fun to relive WrestleMania and defeat the streak. Like in my opinion, is an underrated game mode. Like I really like that. Defend the streak. I don't know. I feel like that could get revamped in some way. But defeat the streak is a really clever idea. Like I love the idea of like this big old boss fight. Like because WWE 2K don't really have any boss fights. It's just a wrestling simulation game. So it's nice to actually have like a little boss battle to fight. So I think that's cool. Plus, sorry, I just popped my knuckles there. But plus, like to WWE 2K14. The features it had were so good. Like, all the create options. Like, I feel like somehow with the later 2K games, they decreased the options for the creating mode. Like, compared to WWE 2K14, like, I feel like they went down. Like, I feel like stuff was removed and then just, like, re-added into it, Like, it's just weird how they do that. And for the love of life, okay. This is a personal bias for me, but this is a big reason why 2K14 is so much better than all the other games. Is create a story. Oh my god, this was literally the best possible thing ever. Like, I love create a story. Basically, if you don't know what that is, it's basically where you can take all these scenes, like as many scenes as you want, and like reorganize your own like story to play for other people, and you can post it online and they can play your own stories with like cutscenes. You can add their own line of dialogues and the settings, and you can change all the maps, and you could have them play certain matches with certain stipulations. Like, it was so freaking cool. And like you can add custom superstars to their story. Like you can just make whatever story you want. Some stories are like all dialogue. They're all cutscenes, with these dialogue boxes, and they're still so much fun to like play through and watch. Just because it's just fun to see what people come up with. It's just WWE. You need to bring that back. 2K. Like if 2K22 brings that back, I'm calling it here. It might be as good as 2K14. I'm not calling it though, because the problems with 2K14. I mean, the graphics. I mean, for the time, they were very impressive, and I'll give it credit for that. Nowadays, they did not hold up well at all. Did not hold up at all. But I get it. Like, for the time, it was very, very impressive. And definitely the, I feel like I was going to say the commentator is not that good, but I feel like the commentators in this one are a lot more natural. In the WrestleMania one, anyway. Maybe because they actually had JR and all those guys. Because, like, when they do all the retro showcases for the future games, like, it's still Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler, which kind of sucks in my opinion. I don't know why they did that. I know JR is in AEW now, but, like, come on, guys. It just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't really feel as good, but the commentary, outside of that, pretty standard. And also, like, I'll say the gameplay for WWE2K14 is better than those other ones. Like, I feel like, for me, this is a personal bias for me, again. I more prefer a game that has very simplistic controls. Like, WWE2K14 was a very simple game, Sure, it wasn't the most accurate in terms of the physics, which is another problem I would have with the game. Like, it wasn't super accurate with, like, the thing. Like, I would literally be, like, playing as Rey Mysterio versus Big Show, right? I just run up to him with a dropkick, and he goes down like he weighs nothing. Like, okay. Physics, hello? But, it's just, I just like the gameplay aspect of WWE2K14. I like it better when there's not a limited number of reversals, or, like, you have to, like, wait to charge up your stamina, and you could, like, actually make your own finishers before the match starts, or, you don't have to, like, be restricted to so many things like other games. And I know the other games have so many more options, in terms of, like, going outside the ring and all that, but, like, I just like the simplistic stuff of the WWE2K14. But that's definitely a personal thing. I know some people like it a little bit more complicated and a little bit more, button heavy, which, that's fine. I don't really mind, but that's just me. So that is all the reasons, in my opinion, WWE2K14 would be better. Now, with that being said, I think it's the best game so far. In my opinion, if WWE 2K22 or any of the other games in the future want to top WWE 2K14, this is what they have to do. For one, bring back story mode. Number two, bring back some of those awesome, like, match types. Inferno match, special guest referee match, Buried Alive, or if you really are ambitious, all of them. And number 3, like, bring back that screen with the roster, because it's really cool. And number 4, just give us a great roster. Like, give us an absolutely unbelievable roster with some great names and some people that really don't get featured in the game that often. Like, I really, like, Eddie Guerrero, like, I feel like he's not in a lot of wrestling games, you know? Or, you know, just I feel like there's a lot of people missing from the WWE roster, you know, like, especially some of the older guys, like Yokozuna, the Iron Sheik isn't there, Doink isn't there, Sergeant Slaughter isn't there, just, you know, I want more of those guys, you know, like, if they have all 4 of those things, I will say it's much better than 2K14. Not much, actually not much better, but it is better than 2K14. Do I think that stuff's gonna happen in the future wrestling games? Probably not, but, you know, I still play those wrestling games, I just still think they're a lot of fun, I just... You know, because I'm just like a really big WWE fan. I still like watching it a lot, and it's a big part, you know, of my it's a big part of my youth, a big part of my love for people. So, with that said, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I'll leave a like and let me know what you think of the WWE 2K games, like 2K14, 15. Maybe let me know what's your favorite WWE 2K game, or if you don't play WWE 2K. If you like what SmackDown versus Raw and all those games, let me know down in the comments. Just let me know what WWE game you like in general, or 2K. And if you don't care about WWE and you're just watching this for the fun, just leave me a random comment about anything you want anyway. I'd be happy to read it. And until next time, guys, stay cool, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye, y'all.